my god, just been on storm surge. We're at Thorpe Park. I've never actually ridden on Quantum. We've been coming to Thorpe Park all year, and I've always worried that it might not be plus size friendly. But we're going to give it a try since it's quiet and not let you know if it is plus size friendly, or at least if I can fit on this ride at Thorpe Park. I can't breathe.
Well, good luck.
Plenty of leg room.
That's good.
In fact, I think I'll be too tight.
Well, at least you won't fall out.
Yeah.
Hold on tight and experience Quantum.
Quantum at Thorpe Park. I can say I managed to fit on this ride no problem. There is a lap bar what comes down from the ground and it fits around your stomach. I'm 54-inch waist and it squeezed my stomach in place, but there's no latches, so it just hits and stops and locks in place when it hits your belly. I actually pulled it a bit tighter than what it needed to be. For double security, I guess, and making sure I fit on this ride, but it's definitely a plus size ride that you can do if you come to Thorpe Park and you're roughly my sizes, and I put those in the description below and also on the screen now.
How comfortable was it though?
It was tight, I could hardly breathe. But I think that's because it's the first time I've ever ridden it and I wanted to make sure that it locked into place. So I pulled the bar down tighter than actually what it needed to be. See, it doesn't click. It's just an electronic thing that locks in place. So you're not pushing it down waiting for that first click, but it never came. It just locks in when it touches your belly. Quantum, it does give you that weightless feeling when you come on the drops down. It really does give you some air time on the drops. We just finished our ride on Zodiac, this Enterprise flat ride. It is plus size. The ride vehicles are designed for 2 people, plus there's just 1 person per ride vehicle. You won't have any issues at all. I'll link in the description to a previous vlog showing you the ride seating positions and access to the ride. But again, Louise and I enjoy this ride. We're going here every time we come to Thorpe Park. Another great ride for plus size people. So as I said, a great ride through. We just had a great walk through Black Mirror Labyrinth. Just had a great walkthrough from just had a great walkthrough of Black Mirror Labyrinth. There's a bit of a tongue twister, that one. It is plus size friendly. Like I say, it's a walkthrough attraction, so it's not a ride, so there's no restraints. It takes about 5 to 15 minutes depending on how easy you find your way through the actual labyrinth. And it is quite dark. There's a lot of like sound and noises and strobe lighting effects in there, so just bear that in mind if you've got any sensory issues. but as a plus size person there's no problem if you can stand up for 10-15 minutes and just walk through the labyrinth. So Louise and I are just going to go on the banana boat ride to see if it's plus size friendly. We haven't been on this at Thorpe Park, so I'll bring you some off-ride footage and let you know how we get on.
Okay, hold on everyone, here we go! Enjoy!
So we just got off the banana boat ride. I can definitely see it's plus size friendly. It is a lap bar that comes down, but it's an electronic lap bar, so it doesn't have any ratchets where it has to go to a certain point. It just comes down, meets your belly and then locks into place. I'm 54 inches waist and Louise is about 51 inch midriff size, 26, 28 dress size, and we both fit on this ride, no problem whatsoever. So if you're coming to Thorpe Park, it's another ride that you can do if you're plus size. We've had a good ride on Darren Brown's Ghost Train this time. It is plus size friendly. You go through a pre-show which lasts about 3 to 5 minutes, and then you have to climb up about 5 or 6 steps and then join the ride vehicle, which is a train carriage, and it's just like a underground train carriage with bench seats, a row of seats, and you sit there and there's no restraints or anything. You just put the VR glasses on and goggles, and then you run through the ride, and then at some point you stop the ride and you do a walk through attraction element before getting back on the train carriage and finishing the ride off. As a plus size person you'll have no issues. What I would suggest though is sometimes when you go on it, if you have a look for the seats where it looks like they've removed some of the VR goggles from some of the seats, so if you pick those you know that no one's going to be sat too close next to you if you're worried about people encroaching your space or you encroaching their space if you're plus size. So that's pretty good. And I've found that this time actually we've got a different run through than previous ones. Previous run throughs we've had a young guy with a dog and with a lighter, you'll know what I mean when you've been on this ride at the beginning. This time though we had a middle-aged guy, probably in his 40s, with a beanie and the lighter and a dog. So it's a different story, different run through this time. Talked a bit more about fracking, but again you'll get all that when you come onto this ride.
The Darren Brown's Ghost Train, it is accessible for both wheelchairs and scooters. I went through with a scooter, but it's the same arrangements for a wheelchair as well. So you can go through the ride queue for both a wheelchair and a scooter. You're basically still going to the cattle pen with everybody else. When you go to the pre-show, they take you to the front of the theatre. You can still watch the pre-show just at the front. They'll then take you through to sort of entrance to the ride car. You go through in like a little lift. They operate, they'll let you into the lift. You just basically keep your hand on the button, go up in the lift to the next floor. Then you go into the ride car. You leave your scooter just outside the ride car. If you're in a wheelchair, you'll enter the ride car in your wheelchair. There's space in there just like there would be say in a normal train, and you've got access to the VR goggles like everybody else. You'll then, if you're using your wheelchair, you'll then come out of the ride car into like another show area before you go back onto the ride car again in the same way. Coming off again, there's a lift that takes you into the exit area, and it's the same thing. You keep your finger on the button to access the lift that should take you down to the like a shop area as you exit the ride. There are people there who will tell you what to do at each step if you need help, but it's all very doable in a scooter or a wheelchair, so enjoy.
Oh my god, just been on Storm Surge. Probably got my feet totally drenched before we even went over the lift hill, so we're an inch of water in the bottom of a ride vehicle. But it is plus size friendly, there's no restraints. There is some grab handles to hold on when you're going up the lift hill and when you're going around the actual ride itself. but you will get wet, especially on your feet. So it does collect the water in the bottom of a ride vehicle. But it is plus size friendly. You just have to bear in mind that you have to step over the actual rubber ring part of it to get into the ride vehicle. So if you can't cock your leg up too much, you might struggle a little bit. But both Louise and I, and Louise is only 5'2", and she managed to cock her leg over and get into the ride vehicle. But once you're in there, there's no restraints or anything like that, so you'll be fine.